Okay, so welcome to our end of year show, our top 5 show. Not quite sure what we're going to call it.
I don't know.
Something-
That's a bit too long-winded for my liking.
Yeah.
Our top 5, but we didn't really think it through. So here's our list.
A bonus episode, the 2 dot things, shoot a hostage, bonus 2023 favourite top 5s of the year.
That's still too long. That's still way too long. What were the brackets?
I don't know. Listen, by the time this goes out, we're going to have already known what to call the episode. So that's a moot point.
This is immaterial.
We'll figure that out later.
Good. Okay.
What we're here to do is talk about our top 5s of 2023.
Cool.
Are you ready for that?
About as ready as I'm going to be. Yes. I agonized over this list.
Oh, me too. So we're going to do our individual top 5s.
Yep.
We're going to try and do a combined top 5 list.
That's going to be tough.
That's going to be tricky.
That might involve arguments.
I think it might involve some coin tossing.
Okay.
Or monkey toss, as I was
I don't know what
explaining
that
to you in the pub.
is.
It's exactly how it sounds.
I don't want to toss a monkey.
We don't have a monkey, but we can improvise. We can find something else to replace said monkey. Yes, we're going to come up with a combined top 5, and then we're going to talk about some of our friends and listeners' top 5s, and then just have a bit of a loose, fun chat about the movies of 2023. Maybe we'll mention some of the worst ones. Open brackets, expend 4 balls, close brackets.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. Let's do this.
Okay, so
let's just start with talking about the year as a whole.
Okay.
A lot of people online have said that they think this has been a really good year for film. I disagree. I think there have been some real highlights, but on the whole, a lot of stuff has been very mediocre.
I think for me, the first 6 months was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to like May or something and thinking, wow, like this is not a great year. There was a couple of good ones that maybe would have made my top 5s, but there was nothing got over a 4.5 for me until definitely the later part of 2023. So it was the first half of the year, certainly I was like, oh man, what? I'm not loving this year.
Yeah, man. It was ropey.
I would also say that did change, obviously, but
Yeah.
I would say horror has been not great this year.
It's not been fantastic, especially as far as cinema releases go.
Yes.
Some streaming stuff might get more of a look in.
Yes.
We'll get to that. But yeah, cinema, I mean, the only notable one I can really think of is Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Yeah.
Talk to Me.
Well, there was a Scream out.
There was a Scream out.
I always forget, I think there's been a Scream out every year for the last 2 years, right? So, just immediately, as soon as I started saying that, I regretted where I was going. But there's been 2 Scream movies out in quick succession. I've forgotten which one's which and when they came out. But yeah, one came out less than a year ago, I guess, which...
Look, I'm not the biggest fan of the Scream franchise beyond the first movie. I think the first one was an absolute game changer, but the rest of them are just like, fine. Scream 2's all right.
I think, yeah, I quite enjoy them. I'm not a huge
enjoy
slasher
them
person, but I think they're all right. You know?
Look, don't get me wrong, I
love
enjoy them, but I don't think they're like, oh my God, I must tell everybody I know to go and watch this film. And I felt much the same way about Scream 6.
Yeah.
And as far as Scream 7, who knows if that's even going to come to pass after some drama that happened this year.
It will definitely come to pass because money. I obviously the key 2 people, I forget their names.
Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega.
Right, okay, they're obviously not going to be in it.
Nope.
They screwed up negotiations with
Neve Campbell,
yeah. Sidney Prescott. Oh my God.
Well, you were halfway there. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's hard. I would love for them to go back to Neve Campbell with their towels between their legs and go, please. And she goes, yes, $50 million and I'll be in it.
I want that to happen, but her to go, no, you had your chance.
That also would be quite satisfying. But in all reality, they'll find another way to do it. They're going to bring back, who's the guy that does the Bruce Willis impressions that's in the Tremors movies? Randy?
Oh, God, Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. They're going to bring him back and say, didn't really die in that van. He's alive. And he's orchestrated the whole thing.
Don't.
Or like, I don't know, he's been secretly guiding everyone through I'm amazed that character's not been back yet.
Look, all I'm going to say is we've talked far too much already about a film that's not on either one of our lists.
Oh my God, this is going to be, if we talk about every
this
movie
is going to be
that's come out
6 hours long.
Open a beer for this.
Beer me.
So interesting year.
Definitely
Not a
interesting.
great start, stronger finish, not great for horror overall, but a couple of notable
bangers.
releases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another important point before we go into our top fives.
Go on.
How spoilery are we planning on being?
What, for the movies we talk about?
Yeah, because we've reviewed them on the Patreon for the most part.
That's a good point.
I think if things have come out within a year, it's probably still not fair game. So let's try and hold back on spoilers.
Let's try and hold back on spoilers. And if we think we're going to spoil it, let's say
we'll spoiler,
skip forward a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try and keep it spoiler light, I guess.
Okay.
We don't need to go into too much detail. Shall we get into our top 5 then?
Yes.
Are we done with 2023 movies?
I'm very done with it.
Because we're going to talk quite a lot about
I'm done with 2023 as a whole.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a few days to go now, but nearly 2024.
Yes.
But all right, let's get into our top 5 then. So what we're going to do is I've got my own top 5 of the year. You've got your own top 5 of the year.
Yep.
I'm going to say my number 5, and then you're going to say if you've got it, we're going to talk about it when it comes up in your list.
Yep.
Or if you don't have it, I'm going to talk about it a little bit and why it's in my list.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to go into the minutiae and extreme detail on that. And then once we've done it, we're going to try and do a combined top 5 list. There's a podcast I used to listen to called The Top 10 Show, and they each had their own individual top 10s of a given subject, and then they would do a combined one. I wouldn't say we're copying them, but we are copying.
But sort
them. We are copying. But they don't release episodes anymore, so it's fair game. And we're doing it 5. It's completely different. It's 5. We're doing 5 movies, not 10.
Okay, yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah. Okay, so
we've also had a stab at what the other person's top 5 would be, and we've swapped our guesses.
Good point, yeah.
And we're going to get to that afterwards.
We've both written down separately
yes,
what we think the other's top 5 is going to be.
Uh-huh.
And we've folded them in bits of paper and put them in our pockets and swapped them.
Yeah. Mine's not in a pocket, should it be?
Mine's not in a pocket either. Don't break the illusion. Right. Top 5. Okay, so I'll go first, shall I?
Yes, please.
So in my number 5 spot, and this was tough.
Oh, the whole thing was it's been so difficult. I genuinely have agonized over this whole list.
Me too, but I feel like for me, my top 3 were way easier than 4 and 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a few that could have been in there.
I'm pretty used to doing like a top 5 of the year. From I've been podcasting for over a decade at this point.
Yeah.
But I've never had to do them in any sort of order. That's been the hard part.
Oh, really? So you just like mentioned the ones that are,
just
that you loved.
In no particular order.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, ranking is,
That's harder.
I enjoy to rank a thing.
Do you?
But I love a good rank, mate. Love it. I'm a big ranker. They call me a big ranker.
I've heard that.
I think that's what they're saying.
Danny's a right ranker.
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. Yeah. I do love to rank, but it's a bit arbitrary and a bit bit of a trap, isn't it? Like, it doesn't really mean anything.
So take it with a pinch of salt, is what you're saying.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Like, but it's personal. I've had a bit of fun with my list as well, and I've done one thing which may annoy you.
Oh no, it's not alphabetized, is it?
Yeah, my order is alphabetical, not in number of preference. Okay, so should I do my number 5?
Do number 5.
Okay. Theatre Camp.
Okay.
Did you expect that one?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Okay. Well, that's true, actually, yeah.
It's not on my list.
Okay. So it's not on your list, so we can talk about it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think this one came out in the summer.
Towards the end of the summer, yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bit of a sleeper one.
It was. It's not. I don't think it was something I was tremendously excited about.
I was, after seeing the trailers. I was like, this looks right up my street. Okay. So I was surprised that you got as much out of it as you did.
I definitely didn't know that it was coming out until the trailer, and then I don't have any huge memory of seeing the trailer, although we probably saw it 17 times.
Yeah.
But I tend to sort of switch off on those now. But I don't remember thinking, I'm really excited for this one. But when we sat down to watch it, I had so much fun. And I think it's probably the most that I've laughed in a movie this year. consistently every few minutes there's another gag. I'm really looking forward to watching it again. It was a breezy 90 that you might find some consistency with my list. A lot of them are about 90 minutes.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. We'll get to number 4 in a minute.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. It took me by total surprise. I loved the experience of watching it. It made me laugh so much. Really looking forward to seeing it again. And also just, I don't know, it was quite, for me, I enjoyed it on an emotional level as well. Like, it got to the end and I thought, oh, this is good. Like, the underdog story and all of that stuff kind of.
You do like an underdog story, don't you?
I do like an underdog story. So that also took me by surprise a little bit. It made me laugh, made me do a light weep, I would say.
Did you?
A small tear. Not a big cry, because I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy that doesn't do a big cry, because that's not good, is it? No, it made me do a little cry, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think it deserves to be on my top 5. So that's my number 5. Theatre Camp.
Theatre Camp.
Theatre
okay. Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Thank you very much.
My number 5.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not on your list. It's Saltburn.
Okay.
The look on your face suggests you weren't anticipating that.
It did cross my mind.
Okay.
But I ummed and ahed. We'll get to that later. Tell me about Saltburn.
So, obviously, I loved Promising Young Woman.
Yeah.
So, since that came out, I've been kind of chomping at the bit to see what Emerald Fennell does next. And I was not disappointed. It's weird because the most I've seen talked about this is on TikTok. Gen Z have gone insane over this film for reasons which I don't want to go into because it's probably considered too spoilery. Yes. What I will say is I think the performances were just next level. It was kind of equal parts really fucking fun and camp. In terms of like the soundtrack and the visuals, it looked stunning.
Would you say Sophie Ellis-Bextor's Camp?
Yes.
Okay.
Murder on the Dance Floor.
It's Murder on the Dance Floor.
That's so camp. But also equal parts really fucking dark. And it surpassed my expectations because the trailer didn't give away much about the contents of the story itself. There were things about it that I didn't like. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a perfect film, but I went to see it twice at the cinema and it stood up just as well to a second viewing.
Okay.
So, I mean, Barry Keoghan is probably like, he's working his way up to being one of my favourite actors at this point.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's always good.
Best thing in Banshees of Inisherin and
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Killing of a Sacred Deer is fantastic in.
I didn't love Eternals, but his and I want to say Lauren Ridloff's chemistry was insane. Yep. I loved those two characters. They made it for me.
Yep.
He's great in everything. Calm with Horses, loads of stuff. He's just everybody's favourite weird little dude. And quite rightly.
Agreed. And he was really great in that. And I agree with you that all of the cast were brilliant in that movie.
Rosamund Pike deserves a shout out as well.
Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant.
He was fun, yeah.
I don't think we mentioned it when we reviewed that, even Kerry Mulligan, but she's not in it a lot, but she's
memorable.
She's memorable.
Yeah.
And just all of the cast in that really gripped me. I think I said in a show, maybe the first half I really loved, and I had my own thoughts and feelings on that. It's not on my top 5, obviously.
I figured.
So I'm talking about it now. But I didn't love it. But I was very excited to see it, and it could be for me maybe one of those that I enjoy a little bit more on a rewatch.
Now you know what to expect.
I had a lot of expectation coming off of the back of Promising Young Woman.
Mm-hmm. It's a very different beast.
The trailer was unusual, but just the name Emerald Fennell, I was like, I'm in, whatever. Like, I don't care what it is, I'm in. So I was maybe a little bit disappointed or let down. But it looked amazing. The performances were great.
I was a big fan of the setting as well. Like I have such a love for like literary Gothic style stuff. And this was kind of tangential to that kind of thing. But I mean, for the setting anyway, and actually the structure of the story. So I'm a big fan. I don't think it has like any sort of big message. It's not trying to say anything besides maybe some kind of classist commentary.
Yeah.
But even then, I think you could just sort of enjoy it as a bit of a weird, darkly comic psychodrama.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those just enjoy the ride type of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
It was, as I say, it was done super, super well. But But yeah, so that made it into your top
It
5.
did, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
See, I'm not as predictable as you think I am.
No. Oh, you agonised. I bet I'm almost right. I bet all of our guesses for each other, I bet they're almost right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I bet there are considerations.
Probably.
Okay then. So shall I do my number 4 if you're done with Saltburn? I think you might guess this one. It's not going to be in your list.
Okay.
My number 4 is Gran Turismo.
Yeah. It's not on my list, you are correct. But another film with Archie Madekwe.
Oh.
Yeah, there's
strong.
a connecting line.
Yeah. Yeah. God, he's out. I've just looked him up on Letterboxd. Obviously he was in Midsommar, but 3 movies this year: Beau's Afraid, Saltburn, and Gran Turismo.
He's in Beau's Afraid as well.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until just now.
He's having a good year then.
Yeah, great year. But firstly, Gran Turismo. So, look, if nothing else, you come for sometimes wildly different opinions between us two, right?
Yeah.
There are sometimes there are genres of films that you love,
yeah,
and there are genres of films that I love, and the genre that really I will watch anything no matter what is cars.
Is that a genre?
Cars is a genre.
It is now.
It is. Car chases, car racing. Like, I thought about this before, how to categorize if we were to do, for example, a season of car movies.
Oh God, you're already scheming on it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you could do racing, you could do car chases. That's my point. But if there's a fast cars in it, Dan's buying the ticket. Maybe. He is there. And also, given that I'm a huge fan of Gran Turismo
and sim racing in general,
this had me written all over it. And directed by Neil Blomkamp. And
I keep forgetting that.
Right?
Oh my God.
You think District 9, amazing, top 10 sci-fi of all time contender?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It's in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the couple of films
Some
after
other stuff.
Huh?
Some other stuff that you also did.
Some other stuff, yeah. I like Chappie more than most, but I can understand why people don't love that movie. And Elysium was
a film
more interesting in concept. Yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah.
He did a possession thing, didn't he?
Demonic, maybe, or something.
Something. But he's been sort of off the radar for a little bit and promising to do Aliens 2.5, and I think he was attached to a RoboCop reboot for a while.
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
you just think Neil Blomkamp, the aesthetic that he produces suits those worlds very, very well, and I was super excited for what he would have brought to it.
Mm-hmm.
But as other movies came out, I got less excited by his name, and unfortunately got less excited for the stuff that he was going to make. So when he was attached to Gran Turismo, I kind of was of two minds, like, yeah, that could be great, but also, really? And it didn't seem to quite match. But I think the racing stuff in Gran Turismo was done super, super well, and it's very, very corny. It's very cheesy, but it's an underdog story.
Here we go again.
Are you seeing a theme here? Yeah, so it had that going for me. It had the car stuff. David Harbour was great.
Yes, I'm a fan of David Harbour.
Maybe would have recast Olive, what's his name?
Orlando Bloom.
Olive. Yeah. I didn't love his character. He was a bit smarmy and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's on American Netflix now, so I was hoping to get a rewatch before we did our list, actually, just to make sure that it would definitely be in my top 5. But I ran out of time, so it's going to go in there.
Okay.
Right, number 4. Gran Turismo.
So,
what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a film I am also very, very confident that's not going to make it into your list. It's Past Lives.
Okay. Well, it's not in my list.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Surprise.
Okay. Past Lives. Tell me about it.
So I saw the trailer, didn't really know what to expect, but I'm a big fan of Korean movies. And this was sort of half a Korean movie, half an American movie. I just have always been a fan of films that are primarily character-based. I don't need a lot to happen to be engaged. I just need the characters to be good and the writing to be good. And this had both, to my mind. It was so grounded. It was such a kind of simple but beautifully told story. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know. I connected with the main character. on multiple levels. I think it was just beautifully acted. It looked incredible as well. And I want to say it was directed by Celine Song. And it was a first feature, which blows me away.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited to see what she does next.
Yeah. It was... Listen, it's not my top 5, obviously. I thought it was super well done. It was very grounded.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful in places, really well done, and I can see why you would have it on your top 5. Did I love it? No, but I think that's more
personal taste.
Yeah, a personal taste. There was like the central. Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything here, but the central thing running through that was definitely a kind of remembrance to a past and connecting with something in your past,
and also
kind
asking,
of running through. And
yeah,
you'd never really stop thinking about it.
But also asking the what if.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah,
it's not a story I've seen told in that way before, and again, it's one I went to see twice at the cinema. And
you went to see that twice?
Cry. Yeah, I went to see it on my own the first time.
Right, okay.
Second time I dragged you.
You did. And I'm glad that I saw it. And do you know what? Maybe the most interesting, or one of the most interesting things about it was that the characters were, they felt like real characters. Like there was 3 main people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain dynamics between them all that you think maybe a different movie would have played on certain tropes and stereotypes.
Or contrivances.
Not stereotypes, but contrivances that you would think a character might act in a way that you think.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't that. It was very... I couldn't have guessed where it was going.
It was just super understated and emotional and just beautiful.
It kind of just felt like a fly on the wall almost.
Yeah.
Like, let's look at this scenario over this course of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was certainly interesting. Yeah.
I loved it.
Good. I'm really glad that you liked it. And it was pretty obvious that was going to be in your top 5, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. Not revealing anything.
Uh-huh.
All right. So if we're done with your 4, should we move on to my 3? Okay. We're moving into horror territory here.
Okay.
So my number 3, I think this is going to be on your list, When Evil Lurks.
Yeah. As Cilla Black would say, surprise, surprise. Yeah, of course it's on my list. Of course.
Yeah, well, it was the best horror movie released this year. You thrown me. I was just going on Letterboxd to type in When Evil Lurks so I can get the information there, and I typed in surprise, surprise. Genuinely.
The Cilla Black story.
I cannot do more than one thing at the same time. Yeah, When Evil Lurks. Again, not long been out. October, maybe.
Do you want to know where that lands on my list? Do I tell you what number that is?
No.
Okay.
Oh, so it's definitely on your list.
It is on my list. Of course it's on my list.
So it's, no, you've said that, but what I forgot is
it's in the top 3.
Must be higher. Okay, so we're not going to talk about that yet then. So let's go to your number 3.
My number 3 is, so this squeaked in.
It squeaked in.
It squeaked
in. Did it?
Yeah.
You should go to the doctor for that.
Well, I figured that would give you an immediate clue as to what it is.
It squeaked in. It squeaked in. Something about a mouse.
No. It just got in there.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, well, let's talk about Godzilla.
See, you knew. It's Godzilla -1.
Yes.
I know, again, you didn't get as much out of this as I did, but I'm such a sucker for a monster movie. I love a good creature feature, and we don't get enough of them. And this was thrilling. I was on the edge of my seat, genuinely, like nail biting. And I know you sort of in the review that we did on Patreon, you had some criticisms about kind of being a bit too predictable and maybe a bit repetitive. Couldn't disagree more. I'll be honest. I was genuinely so engaged, so tense. The human drama involved me. Like it was so compelling. The setting kind of just post-war was really interesting. And for a $15 million movie, it looked insane. It looked gorgeous. And it's probably one of my favourite iterations of Godzilla that I've seen. Obviously, I haven't seen all of them.
Have you seen the Emmerich one?
Yeah, of course. Okay. I saw that at the cinema.
Yeah. So it's better than that one, do you think?
Yeah. Okay. By a country mile. Of course. I mean, this one didn't have Hank Azaria, but still.
No, or Jean Reno.
Yeah.
Driving a car or something. Yeah, we went into great detail on this on our Patreon show.
We did. And I don't want to do that again because I don't want to spoil it. It's so new.
We're not going to. We did a spoiler show, so go and check that out if you like. But yeah, to keep it spoiler light, basically my thoughts boil down to super well done, really interesting setting, really like not seen that done before with Godzilla in terms of characters, interaction, but then becomes a giant monster movie.
Well, yeah, of course.
I know.
There's only so much you can do, and I understand why that's not for everybody, but it's sure as shit for me.
And I think for me, it just sort of ended up being a bit cheesy. But I did want to, in that, I would say more than any other movie this year, that one I really wanted to find a positive because I came out of it like, didn't love it. But I really wanted to find a positive in it, so I made a really conscious effort to try and talk about the good stuff in that because a lot of people really rate that movie.
Yeah, it's gone over really well.
You mentioned the budget for 15 million. It looks incredible. And
it was you that told me what the budget was, and when you told me, I thought you were mistaken. I genuinely thought there's no way.
Did I. When I was like, the budget was 15 million, you went, was it? And I was like, I'm not sure. Let's look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, what they did with that budget was insane.
It doesn't look like a 15 million movie.
No. When you consider what else has come out this year, like Indy 5 had a $300 million budget, and the de-aging stuff every time Harrison Ford moved was drag.
Fast.
This looked gorgeous.
Yeah, it looked way better than a lot of movies that have come out this year with 10x budgets, 20x budgets in some cases, as you say. Good movie. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it-ish, but it got a bit too cheesy for me.
So I mean, the sentimentality doesn't always work for me, but I embraced it here.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I probably won't watch it again.
That's fair enough.
Okay, so that was what number was that for you?
That was my 3.
That was your number 3. So, top 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, so my number 2.
Yeah.
You might get this. So my number 2 is Dumb Money.
Okay, yeah. I know you loved this, yeah.
I did really, really enjoy it. It's I believe it's on our Curzon Home Cinema app at the moment. And again, would love to have had the chance to give it a rewatch just to make sure it's cemented in there for my top 5.
Top 2.
But I really, really enjoyed this. Again, comedy. It's one of those Mark Commode calls them the biopics with the kind of where it's set with the trading stuff and the market stuff, and it's super recent. It's obviously got the kind of the pandemic sort of contextually in there, but not really. It's more of part of the fabric and the reality of what's going on in this world. And I thought Paul Dano was amazing.
He's surprisingly versatile, actually.
He's great.
I've always known he was a good actor, but I think I underestimated just how versatile of an actor he was until this year, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess so, because he's always, I guess, for certainly the early part of his career, and I'm thinking like Prisoners, or he's the...
We could go even earlier, LIE.
LIE?
Long Island Expressway.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, he was very young in that.
Was he an odd dude in that?
He's always a little bit weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Ruby Sparks, all sorts. He's done it all.
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. The King.
Yeah.
Am I just naming films you've never heard of?
Yes. Because I'm going The Batman.
Mr. Batman.
Yeah. The Fablemans. I didn't love that.
No.
Looper. He was in Looper. Okay. Well, he's done a bunch of stuff. Swiss Army Man, he's great in that. Okja, I love him in Okja, he's great in that too. Yeah, I loved him in this. I thought he was very, very funny. Your mate Pete Davidson's in it. Not a lot. Maybe my one criticism would be we could have used him a bit more maybe in the movie. More Pete, yeah. And I just thought it was a very interesting, really well done story about that particular thing that happened. And I just enjoyed it. I just had fun with it.
It's funny. Can I say something vaguely critical? It's not really a criticism, but what you just said about monster movies is how I feel about these like biopics.
Yeah.
In that they're all quite formulaic. Well, not quite. They're all very formulaic.
Well,
they work to
they
our
have
formula.
let's introduce everyone.
Yeah.
There's a struggle, and then we all do our thing, and everyone gets paid.
And there's either a good ending or a bad ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel very much the same way about those as you do about monster movies. In that I don't dislike them, but I think the mere fact that there is such a strict formula maybe presents a bit of an obstacle for me to get truly connected. I did really enjoy it though, don't get me wrong.
I think
the whole cast was great as well, like Shailene Woodley, Clancy Brown. Didn't even mention Clancy Brown, man.
Clancy Brown, Seth
Rogen
was in it.
Nick Offerman,
Vincent D'Onofrio was in there.
Some really fun faces.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
I think for me, those movies you have a bit of a space for comedy in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy them when they utilize that, a la The Big Short. That the asteroid one that everyone hated that I really liked. I can't remember.
The asteroid one?
Yeah, the Don't Look Up.
Oh yeah. I really enjoyed that too.
Yeah, that's obviously about a disaster and slightly different, but it's kind of in the same vein, satirical.
Yeah, I guess so.
So when there's space for comedy in these movies and it's good and it's done well, I enjoy that a lot. But even when it's not, if it's like Steve Jobs, where it's just an interesting performance, or I don't know, I always say like Steve Jobs to me feels like an action movie, but with words. I know you don't love it, but
it's all right.
But yeah, no, that's how I feel about some of these movies. They can be done really well or really poorly, I guess. I never saw that. Who's that? Who's the dude? The dude.
The dude?
The dude. Where's My Car? But not Stifler, the other one.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, he did a Steve Jobs movie, didn't he?
Yes.
I never saw that one. But that's probably not great. But yeah,
you never know.
Going way off topic here, I love Dumb Money. I had a lot of time for it. I really wish I'd gotten a chance to see it again, because I really want to reevaluate it. But I really enjoyed it. First time watching it, loved it. So it's got to be in there. I think at the time when we recorded our Patreon episode, I was like, right, this is my favourite movie of the year. So
okay,
yeah, my number 2, Dumb Money.
I know what your number 1 is.
I know you know what my number 1 is. I know what your number 2 is.
Do you?
Yeah.
My number 2 is Bottoms. And your face suggests you don't know what my number 2 is. Yeah.
2023, yeah?
Yeah. Yep. You look so confused, and I know exactly why. I know why.
You've played some fucking tricks on me.
I haven't played tricks. I told you I agonised over this list.
There's trickery. Bottoms is your number 2.
Yes, I loved it.
Okay, go for it. I mean, let's talk about Bottoms.
I mean, it's a kind of dark comedy, anarchic movie about 2 lesbians who start a fight club in order to hook up with cheerleaders.
Well, when you say it like that, yeah.
It's got my name written all fucking over it, right?
Yeah.
That's my jam. I don't know, there was just something about it that felt nostalgic to me. Like, it really called back to those movies that I loved in the late 90s, early 2000s, like But I'm a Cheerleader and Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's exactly that sort of humour. Saved, even. I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for films like this. And I know you didn't laugh much, but I thought it was a fucking riot.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. Ayo Edebiri, I want to say, and Rachel Sennott, I think, were the 2 leads, who are cropping up in shitloads.
Yeah.
And they're both so talented.
Rachel Sennott was in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
And Shiver Baby.
We watched Shiver Baby, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her in that. And
Ayo is in basically everything. She's in The Bear.
Spider-Man.
She was in Theatre Camp.
Turtles. Theatre Camp, yeah. Yeah, she has popped up
She's
a lot.
Working a lot at the moment, and quite rightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was so much fun. It was a real flashback to the sort of films I would have really loved 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it spoke to me. I'm just really happy that this generation have those films to look at as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad that sort of anarchic weirdness is continuing.
It was, I don't know if maybe I wasn't in the mood for it, but there was a weird, I didn't quite get what it was. the
it's very
tone felt
absurdist.
off to me.
Yeah, it's
because-
not. It doesn't take place in any sort of reality that we know.
But that's what I was unsure of. I think for parts of it, I was thinking, is this meant to be a reflection of reality? And then sometimes it would be super absurd.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it wasn't. It didn't. Maybe it didn't go far enough with the absurdity for me.
Oh, hard disagree.
Yeah.
Hard.
I mean,
disagree.
it was pretty crazy when I think about that third act, particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and breezy. It was really short as well. But
Mhm.
I just looked up the runtime on Letterboxd, 90 odd minutes. But I seem to remember thinking, it quite dragged a bit for me.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah,
I enjoyed every last minute of it.
good. And like a lot of people enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely wrong. Loads of people liked it.
No, neither of us are wrong.
It seems
That's
like,
not how opinions work.
well, sometimes it is.
Well, we'll argue it out. We're going to duke it out for a joint top
Yeah,
five.
we're going to
so-
have to, aren't we? Yeah. Oh my, this is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I knew there was going to be very little crossover.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
I thought there would be more crossover, I'm being honest.
No, I knew there wouldn't be.
All right. So Bottoms is your number 2.
It is.
Okay. Are you ready for my number 1 then?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you my number 1. Listen, you know what it is, right?
Of course I do.
What is it then?
Blackberry.
Yeah, it's Blackberry.
I know you.
Yeah. And Blackberry's got 2 R's, as I've just discovered. Yeah, directed by Matt Johnson. Maybe this came out in the States last year?
It took
Or
a long time to reach us for some reason.
Certainly
Yeah.
long before we got it, because
Yeah.
we got it in, again, maybe October time.
Yeah, we saw
ish.
the trailer a long time ago, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it had been long enough ago that I'd assumed we wouldn't be getting any sort of cinematic release.
Yeah.
But we did.
But we did. It arrived at the cinema and couldn't wait to go and see it. Super excited. Glenn Howerton.
Yes.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Just an exceptionally great comic actor. Jay Baruchel.
I've always been a fan of Jay Baruchel. He seems
Yeah.
sound.
And directed by Matt Johnson, who I wasn't familiar with.
I wasn't when I was watching it, and then I looked him up after the fact and realised I have actually seen The Dirties, which he
What's that?
starred in and co-wrote.
What's that, a
maybe
show?
directed? No, it was a film.
Okay.
It's a film. Quite a dark film.
The Dirties.
The Dirties.
It's a bit dirty.
Yeah. Dirty.
Dirty. I don't know why I'm thinking about Sean Paul. Oh,
No,
we were
I
talking
don't.
about Sean Paul the other night, weren't we? Yeah, so Matt Johnson, it was directed by Matt Johnson, and
And he was in it.
he was in it as well. And I don't think I knew that at the time. I just remember seeing this Doug character, and he was very, very funny.
He stole a lot of the scenes that he was in.
He had this thing where he was just sort of clueless, but harmless.
Yeah,
and it was just
well-meaning.
really well-meaning fun. And the conflict with Jay Baruchel, what he wants to do with the Blackberry product, his conflict there was really interesting. And Glenn Howerton just came in, and I would say sort of came in and stole the show, but all 3 of them did super brilliant stuff in that.
I think it was a pretty impressive triple header, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Glenn Howerton is so talented when it comes to comic timing and the delivery of his lines, but I think the others sort of matched him.
I think it's one of those where take one of those out of the equation and it's not
And the whole thing
quite as
falls
strong.
down, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a paper straw
house of
situation.
cards.
House of straws, yeah. And that's not to say you could take one of them out and I still think it would be a good, enjoyable movie.
But it
I
wouldn't be
think
the same.
the trifecta of those, and it's interesting that Jay got less of the comedy stuff. He had to
Yeah.
be more of a kind of
The straight
understated
man.
straight man.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like he was going with the flow, but also he has his own things that he's not necessarily vocalizing. It's super hard to talk about it without it being spoilery.
I'm glad I didn't know the story of the Blackberry going in. Like, it was all
Yeah.
new to me.
But like you were saying earlier, a lot of these things, they follow the same trajectory, and this one did too.
Yeah.
There's always, and these things, they're usually in the public knowledge anyway, so you kind of roughly know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the little differences that make all the difference to me, the little changes, and if it's comedy or drama, what aspects of the characters are you focusing on? I find those kind of stories about businesses, quite good metaphors for humanity in general. It's about survival, it's about ego, and there's just lots of, if you can focus on the right things, I think it's some of the best movie making for me that there is out there. And I think Blackberry just hits so many funny and poignant points for me. Well, it was like super interesting, but it fucking made me laugh. It made me die. Glenn Howerton bashing the phone. The long shots when it's zooming in, and it was super, it felt quite experimental as well. It felt like a documentary, and it just felt raw and funny, and I loved it.
And had a splash of Michael Ironside as well to boot.
And on top of that, you can give me a shot of Ironside straight in the arse, like that, a bit like that Alien movie he was in that we spoke about in the Alien season. Blackberry, I loved it. I can't fucking wait to watch Blackberry again.
Okay.
And you can't get it yet over here.
Well,
it's annoying.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah, soon. So you got my top 5 now.
Well, you know my number 1 then, because it's the only one we haven't talked about.
Okay, it has to be When Evil Lurks, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know what's happening. Like,
are you questioning everything? Do you even know me?
I don't. Maybe we don't know each other as well as we thought.
I know you.
You do. You got mine. We'll
Has this made you uncomfortable?
No, it's just I'm a bit thrown because I was reasonably happy. I was like, we'll get to our guesses, but with what I guess for you, I thought I'm 60% there, definitely, 100%. Okay. But no, I guess not. So When Evil Lurks, it's your number 1.
It is.
And it's my number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that then. So director Demian Rugner.
Mm-hmm.
Pronunciation, apologies.
Oh,
screwed it up.
I'm not going to attempt to better that.
But you showed me 2 of his films this year. There was this one and
Terrified.
I believe we watched Terrified first, right? On
we
Shudder?
did, yeah. Terrified is one of the few films in recent memory that actually spooked me. So I was so excited for When Evil Lurks, and obviously there was a lot of buzz around it online. People were saying best horror film of the year, and I'm always kind of like, yeah, but is it? I will reserve judgment. Turns out, very much so, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How do we talk about this without spoiling it? It's sort of best described as a possession movie.
Yeah, it's hard to categorize it.
Yes.
Because it if you have to, I agree that is the best place to put it.
Yeah.
But it puts a whole new spin on it. Which is probably one of the things that makes it stand out from a lot of movies we've seen of recent years.
Absolutely. I consider myself, like, I'm a pretty sort of hardened horror fan at this point. So I consider myself quite hard to shock. And there were moments in this that did sort of leave my jaw on the floor a little bit. There was parts in it that just, I don't know, made me want to like scratch my brain. Yeah. There were a couple of moments where I was just like, oh, okay, they went there. And it was so good and so unexpected and dark as fuck. Yeah. And nobody was safe. And I think that's kind of what I loved most about it, because in horror films, there's like an unspoken rule that, you know, certain groups of people shouldn't be harmed, and they're sort of off the menu, so to speak. Whereas, if you've seen it, that makes a lot of sense. Whereas in this, all bets were off. Yeah. And there weren't too many exposition dumps, which kind of can ruin a lot of horror films. And I think it sort of stands out head and shoulders above most other films that I've seen this year because of the fact that it's really hard to do this in any sort of fresh way. And I say this because it came out in the same year as the new Exorcist film, obviously the David Gordon Green reimagining. Didn't make our lists, obviously. Yeah. Not our best of, anyway. No, exactly. But coming away from that, I wanted to be more forgiving of it, because I thought, well, how can you do possession in a fresh way? Yeah. How can you make it subversive? How can you make it transgressive anymore when the original Exorcist had people puking in the cinema and leaving? How can you better that? How can you one-up it anymore? Turns out, When Evil Lurks is how you fucking do it. Yeah. and I can't wait to watch it again. It's a sort of horror film that I immediately would recommend to any of my friends who are even vaguely into horror films.
I would maybe be more careful who I would recommend this to. There may be some people that I'd be like, that's not for you.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be like, Mom, you should watch this.
No, I'd recommend it to my mum. I think... do you know what? I would fucking love to have seen this at the cinema, this movie. This would have been an experience.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had seen it at cinema, maybe would have even been higher on my list.
Do you think?
Maybe, because it's... I mean...
I feel like it would have been a good kind of communal experience with a good crowd.
Yeah, right? I just feel like we all would have come out and just looked at each other and been like...
Dazed.
Oh.
Stiff drink? Anyone?
Yeah. Has anyone else got a boner?
No, just me. Okay.
Yeah, super creative. Did something completely different with that possession genre. We watched Terrified first, and I really enjoyed that. That was something different.
Definitely.
So by the time it came round for us to sit down and watch this, I don't know, because I was only just familiar recently with Terrified, I don't think I had enough time for expectations to build up as well.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And I just, when it first started, it was like the first 5-10 minutes, I was thinking, this seems strange, what's going on? No spoilers. But then as it maybe got to 15-20 minutes, I was in. And then about the 25-minute mark, something happens, and I was just, Sarah, go and get the popcorn.
Yeah.
And it just was, from that point, relentless, did not stop, surprising all the way, super dark and nihilistic and brutal, and it's just exactly what I want from a horror movie.
Yes. I am going to say one thing, one tiny little asterisk against this film, and that is, as somebody who is autistic, I feel like the director maybe misunderstands autism with regard to one particular character, but it's a minor gripe in an otherwise what I think is excellent horror movie.
Okay.
And I think to me cements the fact that non-English speaking countries are making the best horror movies.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Yeah.
So get used to subtitles, guys. That's it.
That's it. So that's our separate top fives.
We did it.
We did that part.
We did that bit, yeah. I'm exhausted. That was a lot.
I know. Been recording for ages, you know. So we guessed each other's top fives.
We did. We tried.
As we said at the top of the show, we wrote them down, we folded them into pieces of paper and swapped. So I've now got your top five and you've got my top five. So, okay, so you're opening first. Right, so what we got on there?
Ooh.
What do you reckon on my guesses for you? And I could not believe.
Ooh.
I was so surprised. Okay, it's suspense. What's at number 5?
So you put number 5, Godzilla -1.
Yeah, so I was right. That was
you were
on the
right,
list.
yeah. Yep.
But I thought that would only just make your top 5.
Yeah, it did. That's what I said. It squeaked in there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it could have been your 6 is what I was thinking.
Right, okay.
Saltburn, I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
I sort of thought about it, but immediately disregarded it because I thought, you liked that a lot, but I don't think it's quite top 5 material.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'd got Godzilla for you at number 5. So that's
fine.
It's there.
I didn't even number yours, I don't think. So.
Oh, did you?
No.
All right. What's
I'm gonna chalk this up to a win. You got one right.
Right. Go on.
The next one you put Talk to Me.
Yeah.
And then a little dash that says How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Yeah.
Which is 2 guesses. Which breaks your own rules. Firstly.
No, my guess was Talk to Me, but I was just letting you know that I was considering How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Wooden Ladders. Talk to Me. I was amazed that this was not in your top 5.
Talk to Me and How to Blow Up a Pipeline were in my top 10.
Yeah.
They were in my considerations.
I know that you liked them a lot, and I know that you rated them 4 stars.
Did you look on Letterboxd? Did you cheat?
That's not how is that cheating. We did not say that we can't look on Letterboxd. Could I take a picture of you? Oh my God, you're very annoyed by that, aren't you?
Oh, you don't need to take a picture of me. Just post a picture of Edvard Munch's The Scream. That's what I look like right now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Rude. You were close. You were close. Both of those definitely were in my considerations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if it weren't for the last couple of months, both of them might have made it.
Yeah, that's fair.
To be honest. There were some very late contenders. So, number 3, you got Past Lives.
Yeah, and what was that? That was your 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, close. Okay, so that's 2 so far.
When Evil Lurks.
Yep, 3.
3 out of 4. Number 1 you thought was going to be Barbie.
You fucking saw it 4 times. You saw it 4 times.
I loved it. But I thought about it long and hard. I told you, agonized. I'm going to keep repeating that. I agonized over this. I didn't exclude it to try and trip you up. It was so close to being in my top 5. So close. I feel like, do you know what? Maybe if I hadn't seen it 4 times, it might have made my top 5.
Interesting.
I think because I've seen it 4 times in the last 6 months, which is insane.
Are you done with it for a while?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just getting started. I've only seen it twice.
Yeah. I think it's excellent. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Of
course.
It's just unlike anything else I've seen in recent memory. And it far exceeded my expectations. Far exceeded.
I had it at your number 1.
You did.
I was very confident in that. Very confident.
Yeah.
I thought, you've seen it. You went to see it. You went to see it
3 times at the cinema.
Or 4 times at cinema.
3 times at the cinema, once at home.
Yeah, so you've seen it. I just thought, I don't know, if I'd seen a movie 4 times in 1 year, the year it came out,
yeah,
it would be my number 1. No question.
Well, goes to show.
And also, like, I thought maybe you'd use it as a chance to promote your Anchor earrings, maybe, from Sugar and Vice.
So that's one of the reasons that I went to see it as quickly as I did, because I had a personal connection.
Yeah.
And my work was in the film. So I was very keen to see it on that basis. And I just didn't expect to think very much of it, if I'm being honest. I like Greta Gerwig. I like a lot of the people that are involved in the film. But I didn't expect it to blow me away.
Yeah.
And I came out very surprised. It was definitely one of my favourites of the year. But when I sat down and I weighed everything up, I don't know, maybe it was number 6, but it didn't crack my top 5. I'm so sorry.
Do you know what? It was in my top 5 for the longest time.
Was it?
It was between Theatre Camp and Barbie.
Yeah.
And honestly, I might put Barbie at 5. But the reason I didn't is because I was certain you were going to have it in your list. But yeah, it would have been my 5.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has that rewatchability for me.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice.
Oh, yeah. 4 times, like I say, 4 times in 6 months, and it wasn't a chore once.
Yeah. And that is huge for me. Like all of the movies, with the exception of Dumb Money, which I need to see again, I definitely would watch multiple times. Blackberry, there's so much I want to dig into with that movie. When Evil Lurks, yeah. And Barbie, I watched it for the second time, and I remember thinking, yeah, I could probably watch this again. Like, even if you just put it on in the background and you're sort of in and out, there's Gosling talking about horses. Really super fun, great movie. I'm so shocked that it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been hilarious if it was actually my number 5 and not in your top 5 at all. I guess that just shows your integrity. Is like you didn't even want to promote your own products in this show. Take that opportunity.
No, I mean, we talked about it anyway, so
best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You get to pretend like you've got some integrity and talk about it anyway.
But again, much like the last one, if it hadn't been for the last couple of months and some strong contenders coming in at the last moment, it would have made my top 5. Absolutely.
I feel like when we saw Barbie, it was straight in at my number 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah, halfway through the year.
Yeah.
No question.
And then a few movies, everything else came out after that. That's in my top 5.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, shall we look at what you guessed for me?
Go on. I can't even remember what I put now.
I know. That's what I was struggling with earlier.
I switched one out.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you've written down 5 in no particular order. Gran Turismo.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew it.
You knew it.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewatch the fuck out of that movie.
On your own.
On my own, masturbating in my bedroom. When Evil Lurks, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
figured.
Also, I like to try and mix up the genres if I can. But
Yeah. Well, I
just fucking loved that movie. 4.5 stars out of 5, so it had to be in there.
Well, we were both so blown away. I was on the fence for a little bit, but then
Yeah.
I thought, no, I imagine it's probably in your list.
They cloned Tyrone. Interesting. In my like 5, 6, and 7.
Mhm.
I was kind of Barbie, Theatre Camp, Creed 3.
Oh, I thought about that, and then I
Yeah.
was like, no, but he didn't like rave about it or anything. So
And then they cloned Tyrone. They were the ones, and How to Blow Up a
Right.
Pipeline. They were
Yeah.
like the 4-star movies that were in contention of
Right.
the 5 and the 5 to 10 mark, say.
Okay.
So yeah, good guess. Dumb Money, yes. Blackberry, yes. So you got 4.
So what you're saying is, I know you better than you know me.
Yes. And now you win
Nothing.
a jet ski.
Where's my jet ski?
It's going to be delivered next week. You just need to send me your credit card details and your address and your mother's
I
maiden
don't
name.
want a jet ski.
Why not? Have you ever been a jet ski?
No,
It's so much fun.
I've had no desire to.
Right? Can you pass me a beer, please?
Where are the beers?
If you just look beyond the beanbag, beyond the pines of the beanbag, the mountainous range of the
Place
Moretti.
beyond the beer.
Yeah, I need another beer for this. Oh, this is going to be all shooken up now.
Or shooken.
All shooken. Right,
I
so
hope you're leaving all this in.
this is all staying. I'm not editing this at all. An hour. We're an hour.
Oh my god, quick.
Right, so what have we got to do next? We've got to do our combined top.
I don't know how this is going to work.
We're going to find out, aren't we? Right, let's make some space.
I think we're just going to have to like rock, paper, scissors this.
That's a good idea, actually. Rock, paper, scissors. That might make it a bit simpler.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's try this.
So so your 5, remind me.
5 was Theatre Camp.
Mine's Saltburn. Are we doing Theatre Camp versus Saltburn?
I would say, right, what have we both got the same?
When Evil Lurks.
That's locked in then.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so
it.
I'm going to put 2 little hashes next to When Evil Lurks. Now, the question is, where do we put that?
Number 1.
It's got to be number 1, hasn't it?
Yeah, if it's the only crossover, it has to be.
Right, okay. So there we go. We're off to a start now. In the first place, we've got When Evil Lurks.
Cooking with propane? Is that what people say? I don't know.
I've never heard.
Some sort of phrase.
Cooking with gas? Oh, that is a gas, I guess.
Yeah.
Propane is a type of gas.
Now I'm thinking about Hank Hill.
The Mike Judge guy.
Now I'm thinking about Bobby Hill. That's my purse. You don't know me. What's number 4? No, we haven't done 5. Oh, God.
No, we've only done 1. Right, so my now my number 5 is Theatre Camp, but really Barbie.
No, you can't. You can't.
Okay.
It's Theatre Camp. You can't retcon now.
You can't call me that. God, we've got no crossover, have we? How are we going to do this?
Not even like thematically. This is going to be so hard.
Let's do this a different way, though. Let's go from 1 onwards. So my number 1 was Blackberry. Your number 1 was When Evil Lurks. We've already got that locked in. Bottoms. Let's say Bottoms versus Blackberry for number 2. What do you reckon?
Bottoms.
I'll say Blackberry.
Then I guess we're at an impasse.
Rock, paper, scissors, then, I guess.
Are we doing it on 3 or after 3?
On 3. Right, ready?
Wait.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no!
Draw, 2
We're
scissors.
scissoring each other.
That's on our OnlyFans page. Right. 1, 2, 3. With scissors again. This is going to end in a stalemate situation.
Okay.
What, last time?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. You bastard. You went for
I
the lot.
know how stubborn you
Because
are.
you know that I would go for scissors.
I know
Right.
you won't back down.
Sarah, rock beats scissors.
Bottoms.
Right, so Bottoms is number 2 then. So Blackberry's number 3 then, is it?
No, that's not how this works.
Oh, this is not fair. Right, so, okay. So, all right. So what we're going to do then is we're both going to pick what we want in third spot.
Okay.
I want
Blackberry.
Yeah, obviously. What do you want?
Well, my number 3 was Godzilla -1.
Okay, so Blackberry versus Godzilla -1. Rock, paper, scissors.
Godzilla definitely stamps on all of the blackberries and
Fuck you. No,
kills them.
I would say if you've got a Godzilla, you need Blackberry so you can email your boss and tell them you're going to be late for work.
Oh, it'd take you fucking half an hour on that tiny little keyboard.
Yeah, true. It probably freezes.
Puny technology is no match for the giant kaiju.
Yeah. What if you get a Godzilla-sized Blackberry and the Godzilla's like texting the mate? What's the mate called? Mothra? Are they mates or are they enemies?
I don't think they're friends.
Is Godzilla a goodie or a baddie?
I often have this question. I think he's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
And when they try and defeat him, it makes me sad.
I'm never quite sure on that either. Okay, so for the number 3 spot, it's for me Blackberry, for you Godzilla.
Yeah.
Should we do rock, paper, scissors again?
Yeah,
On 3?
right. God.
Well, we could do a coin toss or toss the monkey.
We haven't got a monkey. Quick.
Toss the monkey. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. I
you
cut your paper
fuckface.
with my scissor.
Right, all right, Blackberry it is.
Right, number 3 is Blackberry.
What's in 4th place?
Well, that's what we got to decide. So I'm going to pick what I want in 4. I would like, Dumb Money, obviously.
You want Dumb Money in 4?
Yes, I do. What do you want in 4?
Oh, God. I'm still going to go with Godzilla.
Okay.
That's so profound.
I
Share more of these thoughts with me.
was just thinking, should we try and conversation this out, or should we just rock, paper, scissors? Or toss the monkey?
You can toss off the monkey. I'm going to do...
Listen, I didn't say anything
Rochambeau.
You're going to what? Ham Shandy?
Rochambeau. That's what, rock, paper, scissors. Rochambeau.
All right, okay. So for number 4 then.
Yeah.
Dumb Money versus...
Godzilla.
Right. After 3.
Yeah.
On 3.
On 3.
1, 2, 3.
You
Scissors
twat.
beats paper.
You are altogether too pleased with yourself.
Because I know that you know that I'm stubborn, but I don't know if you understand just how far I'll go with the scissors situation.
I do understand.
I'll scissor you every time. Okay, so now combined number 5 then.
What do you want for number 5?
Gran Turismo.
Saltburn.
Gran Turismo.
Archie Madekwe versus Archie Madekwe.
Okay. Okay, for number 5. Are we going to do the same thing again?
Yeah, we're going to have to. How else? Because we're both stubborn.
Okay.
I'm not going to back down, are you?
No.
No.
Right. On 3?
Yeah.
Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you scissors beats paper. Sarah wins.
Saltburn.
Saltburn in number 5.
That's a weird list. That's a strange top 5.
Isn't it? It is a strange top 5.
Remind us. In 5,
we have... number 5, we have Saltburn.
Oh, I was taking a swig of my drink. Should I have been saying
I thought you were
things?
going to do the numbers still.
Oh, no. 4.
Brilliant. Dumb Money.
In 3.
3. Blackberry.
And 2.
Coming in number 2. Bottoms. And number 1.
When Evil Lurks.
When Evil Lurks. I think When Evil Lurks had to be our combined number 1, considering we both had it in our lists.
We've got very different taste in films. How's this worked as long as it has?
I thought... yeah. I was way off with your guesses. Very different top 5s. You got 80% of the ones that I had in my top 5, so you know me better than I know you, apparently. Mm-hmm. Yeah, weird combined list as well. When Evil Lurks, Bottoms, Blackberry, Dumb Money, Saltburn.
Very strange list.
It's a definite, but I will say it's definitely a combination of our list.
One of these things is not like the others.
It's a good combination. I feel like it's definitely a good combined list because I think it says things about both of us, which is what the point is, I guess. It's our official Shoot the Hostage top 5. That was fun, wasn't it?
It was something.
Yeah. we put the question out to our mates on social media, didn't we? What are your top fives, friends?
We sure did.
What have you got for us? Who replied, firstly, and what did they say?
So, we're going to put links to these guys in the show notes.
Yep.
So if you fancy giving them a look, which you absolutely should,
Absolutely.
then go scroll somewhere and do a clicky click.
Follow the links in the descriptions.
Yes. So the podcast nobody asked for, their top 5 is 5, Evil Dead Rise, 4, John Wick 4, 3, Barbie, number 2, Past Lives, good choice. And number 1, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Good list.
Wonder if that's going to come up more.
We'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
They also said honourable mentions to The Conference and Quiz Lady.
Not heard of that. What's that?
I'm not sure about The Conference. I haven't heard of that one.
I thought it was one film, The Conference and the Quiz Lady.
Okay.
Because now, when you break them in two, I have heard of the Quiz Lady.
Quiz Lady, yeah. It's on my want to watch. Yeah. But I think it's only on Disney Plus over here at the moment.
Yeah,
so
I think I saw that last night, or I found out about it last night on Letterboxd. I'm quite keen to watch that too. That looks like a bit of fun.
Yeah.
A bit of Christmas fun.
So, moving swiftly on to our pals at Raiders of the Podcast.
Raiders!
Which, again, go check out these guys. Really fun show. So, their list is a bit cheaty, I will say.
How so?
In no particular order. They haven't numbered them. So we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Oh no, Across the Spider-Verse. I keep getting that wrong.
Easy mistake to make.
Yes. Sharksploitation.
Okay.
Which I haven't seen. Is that a documentary?
I don't know.
I think it's a documentary about like shark movies. Because there are so many of them now.
Oh, okay. And what, like the fear that they've instilled in people? Or just shark movies in general?
I think
like
just shark movies in general. I don't think it's like people have like phobias of the beach now.
They do.
I know, since Jaws.
Yeah. All right, but it's more of like, this is a shark movie called Deep Blue Sea where Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten and you're not expecting it. This is a movie called Deep Blue Sea 2. Samuel L. Jackson is not in this. This is a movie called The Meg, which is fucking terrible.
Stop it. So
I will watch that.
Their number 3 is an absolute cheat, but I will allow it because I'm nice. Barbenheimer.
2 movies, that really, isn't it?
Joint Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Both really good movies. I didn't care much for Oppenheimer, which I realise like we are absolutely in the minority here.
It was just a bit dry for me.
Same.
It was a bit.
Same.
It was. I didn't.
Exquisitely made, but not for me.
Yeah, I didn't have a really good experience watching it. I just kind of couldn't wait for it to end.
Yeah.
And I hate that about myself. I feel like I'm an idiot or something.
Yeah.
But
we're very uncultured, Dan.
Yeah, but Barbie, I loved it.
And then they've got Rye Lane. Yeah. Which we saw, and I very much enjoyed that one.
Early one. That was earlier on in the year. Yeah.
Yep.
Glad someone's brought that up.
Yeah, me too. And Nimona is the 5th.
Not familiar with that.
I believe it's animated, but again, not one that we managed to see. Again, they've got some honourable mentions, which are Renfield, Evil Dead Rise, latest Mission Impossible and Indiana Jones, and also Suitable Flesh. Which I think is the new Joe Lynch movie.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting list. I'm happy that there's not a huge amount of crossover in any of the lists we've talked about.
Yeah, it's nice to hear what other people are watching and enjoying. I had a feeling that a few people would have Oppenheimer on their lists.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people loved it. It just wasn't quite for me or whatever. Did they mention Mission Impossible, did you say?
Yes, that was an honourable mention.
I was kind of a bit disappointed by that one.
Because you were really hyped for that, weren't you?
So hyped. I love Fallout. It's one of my top 10 action movies of all time. I love it.
I really enjoyed it. Like the car chase stuff was super well done, I thought.
I thought it was well done. Maybe again I need to just maybe watch that on a Saturday night with some popcorn and a few beers. Just no pressure. But I was a bit disappointed with the Pom Klementieff character not being in it much, but she's going to be in the next one clearly. And then obviously, no spoilers, but not enough Rebecca for us.
Yes.
More Rebecca, please.
Agreed. I do love Rebecca Ferguson. moving on, we've got Chris from Just the Thing, which you
yeah.
guested on.
Yes.
So if you haven't listened to that,
This year,
what did you cover? Dark Blue?
We spoke about Dark Blue,
Yeah.
Kurt Russell movie. That was a really enjoyable experience. Loved appearing on their show.
Yeah, it was a good listen as
Yeah.
well. So head over there and listen to that. So Chris's list. So he agonized a little bit because he wanted to add, well, he talked about Pearl and Talk to Me because they were both made in 2022. But I think as long as they didn't get a release until this year, UK release anyway, then they still count.
That's fine. They came out this year. So yeah, I would count those, definitely.
So, so he's kind of stuck between Pearl, Talk to Me and Evil Dead Rise at number 5. And the rest of the 4 are Barbie again. Yeah. I'm very glad that Barbie's getting a lot of love, especially since she got booted from my top 5.
I think honestly, Barbie is going to be on most people's top 5,
good,
and rightly
good.
so.
Yeah, he's also got the Marvels.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Near the Costa.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Fast X.
Okay.
Which I disagree with, but I have to say, I think one of my favourite performances of the year is definitely Jason Momoa in Fast X. He stole the heck out of that movie.
Momoa and the man bun.
Yeah.
He honestly, he's the only reason to watch that movie for me. I thought it was fucking terrible.
He was great though. And lastly, Infinity Pool, which again was in my top 10. That was in my considerations.
That was hovering around my top 10. Yeah, definitely.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a top 20 actually, but
oh my God.
Yeah, that's definitely in there.
Right. So Jamie, my friend Jamie at Final Transmission.
Final Transmission sent in, did they? What did they say? Or is this just Jamie?
This is just Jamie.
Okay, so
nothing from Sam.
So we're gonna.
He's representing the both of them.
So we're gonna basically, if Sam doesn't like what Jamie says, then it's Jamie's fault.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Also, it's not a top 5. It's a top 9.
Okay. And in order, I assume.
No order. In no particular order.
I'm just going to say 9 movies at you.
So his message was, no order, I refuse to whittle. So his movies are Super Mario, which, as I've heard it, is kind of controversial.
The Chris Pratt one?
I assume so. Well, okay. Not the Bob Hoskins one.
It didn't come out this year.
No, it didn't.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I must admit, got zero interest in watching it.
Same. I've heard a few people say it was really good on first watch, but didn't hold up to a second.
Okay, but honestly, if he's saying that it's worth watching, I definitely am curious.
I'll give it a punt for sure. He's got Renfield.
Yeah,
really fun movie. Dream Scenario, another one that I enjoyed, but not as much as I thought I would. They cloned Tyrone, so we did get it on a list at least. Guardians 3 didn't make my list, but I did enjoy it, and I'm quite keen to see that again. Actually, I'm pretty done with the MCU for now, but Guardians was a good one.
It's been a while since an MCU has been in my top 5. Actually, not that long, because it was probably Spider-Man: Far From Home. Not far.
So like a year.
Is it Far From Home, the third one?
No Way Home.
No Way Home, that one.
Yeah.
Whenever that came out.
Beau is Afraid.
Oh, we haven't seen that yet.
No, that's one of the few that we really wanted to get to but couldn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna once we're done with this, I'm gonna list the ones that we haven't seen.
Okay. Please Don't Destroy, which isn't out over here yet, but he did watch while he was in the States.
Okay.
That's on my want to watch. Pearl again. And Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons,
which was super fun.
That's the first time that's come up.
It is, yeah. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
It was fun. Yeah, it was certainly fun. I had a good time watching that. I'd be happy to sit down and put that on again in the background.
Same. It's an easy watch.
Over Christmas, we're doing the old trivia thing with a few drinks and put that on in the background and just laugh at Chris Pine dancing and playing the lute.
Sure.
The lute? Is it called the lute?
Yeah. All right.
Was it called the lube?
It's not called the lube.
Right. So, okay. Yeah. So thank you very much for sending in your top 5s, everybody. We really appreciate it. And go and listen to those podcasts. We're going to have all the links in the description.
Yes.
Have a look. Give them a click. Give them a listen. Highly recommend those guys. How about some films that we haven't got around to watching this year?
Hit me.
Yeah. We've seen quite a lot.
We've tried to be as comprehensive as we could.
Yeah, we've got our cinema passes, so we're very stubborn because we pay X amount of money for that. So we want to see as many movies as possible to get that individual ticket price down as much as possible. And also it's like handy for the podcast.
But also there are certain films where even free is not good enough. Wonka, I'm looking at you.
Wonka, yeah, which I thought was going to be in Jamie's top 5, to be honest.
Just Wonka 5 times.
Yeah, 1 to 5. Yeah, so Wonka, obviously, we're never going to go and watch Wonka, are we?
I have absolutely no desire to watch that film.
Nah.
I've heard good things about it, frustratingly, but I cannot imagine whose idea it was. Who went, this really weird dude, this really mysterious guy. How about we remove all of that mystique and give him a backstory? How about that? Why? Yeah. No.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. My biggest issue, or the main reason why I didn't want to watch that movie, is because Hugh Grant is a Oompa Loompa, and it's a musical too, right?
Oh God, is it?
It's a musical. Obviously, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. When I was a kid, I probably liked it quite a bit. I would say
it's a good movie.
I don't know if I would go that far. Maybe it's been. Well, it's been at least 30 years since I've seen it, I would say. I can't imagine I would get much out of it now, but I don't know if it's a good movie.
All I know is that the Wonka trailer gave me Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland vibes.
Yeah.
And I just have no desire to watch it.
But people enjoy it, and that's great. And but we never got to see it. So let's carry on listing all the movies that we haven't seen this year and why. I've had a real issue with runtimes this year, and Martin Scorsese releases a movie and you think, I'm going to go and watch that. And then they tell you how long it is.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 hours. And I was quite keen to watch Killers of the Flower Moon, as we touched on earlier. Saw the trailer quite a few times.
I'm too arthritic for that. I would seize up during the running time of that film.
I would need at least 3 beers, at least 4 toilet breaks.
I'd need 3 beers and some WD-40 to get moving again at the end.
WD-40 in your popcorn.
Yeah.
It's too long.
Yeah.
Just too long to sit in a cinema. And it's
or give us an interval.
An interval would be great. I would really enjoy that, actually. If you're going to do a long film, let's make an event out of it. Let's go on a 7 p.m. on a Saturday night. Let's do 2 hours till 9 p.m. and then let's have 20 minutes.
Time.
Go to the bathroom, get some popcorn, have a drink at the bar, and then settle into the second half. If you sort of go in with that mindset, I can get on board with it.
Yeah.
But
look, for me, it's not even an attention span thing. I'll quite happily watch 3.5 hours of anything, as long as I can move about. And in the cinema, that's not possible.
No.
It's too much of an undertaking.
You can obviously go to the bathroom, and that's fine.
But then you miss bits.
But you miss bits, you miss parts, and it's not really very good for watching a movie, particularly if we're going to watch them in mind of reviewing them on our Patreon.
So we can't just pool off for 15 minutes and come back.
No. And but even to the point where that's now on Curzon Home Cinema, and last night we were thinking, okay, what should we watch before we do our end of year show? And we thought, well, we could watch 2 movies, or we could watch Killers of the Flower Moon.
We could watch 3 90-minute movies.
Yeah,
in that time.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I'm keen to watch it, but
yeah,
I might say, shall we watch it over Christmas? I think
it's one of those that I'm convinced is going to be excellent.
Yeah,
but it's too intimidating, and we haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it would make my top 5.
Maybe
had I seen it, but we will never know. Not out yet, but could be in my top 5. Ferrari. So obviously not out yet, so that's why we haven't seen it.
Right, but we'll rectify that very shortly, I'm sure.
Believe you me, it's coming out on Boxing Day.
Michael Mann and Cars.
And
it's got your name all over it.
Adam Driver. And
A Driver.
His name is Driver. Can't wait to watch that. I'm super excited for that. We haven't seen Beau is Afraid.
No, I really wanted to, but it wasn't at the cinema for very long and hasn't been on streaming anywhere yet. So.
I feel like that was a period when there was a lot out.
There must have been a reason we didn't get to it.
And I think maybe we thought, we'll go and see this. and then we'll see that, and then it wasn't showing, and we thought, oh, that will be on streaming soon, but it wasn't. It hasn't shown up as of yet. We've not seen Aquaman 2 yet.
Mr. Aquaman.
No, and
of the sea.
I'm quite confident that's not going to make it either of our top fives.
It might make the bottom one.
It might make the bottom one. Maybe gain a few points for having a topless Yaya in it. Maybe.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. We haven't seen Napoleon yet, have we? We haven't seen that American playing a Frenchman.
Do you know what? Considering how much I love Joaquin Phoenix, I appear to have had a very good year at dodging his films somehow.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He's one of my favourites, but he's chosen some projects that have been a bit, I don't know, not impenetrable, but that require more thought than I'm willing to give. Also, Napoleon, I've heard some very divisive things about.
I thought the trailer looked terrible.
Yeah.
And I've heard terrible things about it, so it's just one of those. Again, 2 hours and 37 minutes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Why the fuck am I going to sit down and watch a movie that's not very good for 2 hours 37 minutes, apparently?
Ridley Scott's a strange one. I'm going to watch it eventually. I will give it a shot.
Will you?
We'll see. Yeah.
I might. But there's loads of Ridley Scott movies I haven't seen.
Okay.
For much the same reasons, actually. We haven't seen Poor Things because that's been
it's not out yet.
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
It's not out till January here, but I believe it's come out in the States already.
I'm desperate to see
Is
that.
that Yorgo?
It's Yorgos Lanthimos,
Yeah.
yes. Or as I like to call him, Darkest Timeline, Wes Anderson.
Yeah, he's the Wes Anderson we deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not super excited by the trailer, but he's one of those people now where if his name is attached, I'm gonna go and see it, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, not for us, not out till January. So looking forward to that. Might make our 2024 list.
Who knows?
We've not seen that Zack Snyder movie, Rebel Moon, yet, have we?
Oh, we were going to, and then we didn't.
Do you know, yeah, we sat down last night again. Shall we watch Killers of the Flower Moon, which is 4 days long? Shall we watch Rebel Moon, which is
probably
2.5 hours long and probably shit? I think I looked on Letterboxd, was like, yeah, this is not getting great reviews. Why would I spend my time watching that movie? And we watched May December, didn't we? Instead,
yes, Todd Haynes.
Yeah,
which was good but strange, and I'll probably never watch it again because ew.
Very strange, but also I'm glad that we watched that in place of Rebel Moon and Killers of the Flower Moon. Very different movie, I think, but
for sure.
But yeah, so we've skipped to Snyder this year so far. Silent Night, the latest John Woo movie we've not seen yet.
The latest John Woovie.
John Woovie, yeah. Our first episode was a John Woo movie.
It was.
But not got great reviews, but it's a John Woo. I'm going to watch that movie, whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that Joel Kinnaman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall, which I didn't get to see yet.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Haven't seen it. It was showing during the day, and I thought, oh, I'll go while you're at work, and I just never got around to it. And then everyone started talking about it, saying it's really, really good, and I've regretted not going to see it. So I'm quite keen to watch that when we can.
We will.
Hopefully that'll be on Curzon Home Cinema soon. As soon as it goes on there, I would like to lock that in. Next Goal Wins comes out next week for us.
Yep.
Super keen to watch that. Anything Taika Waititi.
I'll give anything he makes a shot, even though I didn't love Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
But otherwise, pretty good track record.
Yeah, I mean, everything that he's done that is a Taika Waititi movie is good.
Yeah.
And 50%...
Well, Ragnarok is probably one of my favourite Marvels, to be honest.
No,
so
agreed. But yeah, Love and Thunder, disappointing. We never saw Maestro because it looks like exactly the sort of thing that I would avoid.
It looks a fucking snore. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, that says way more about me than it does about the film.
No,
but
it does look
Yawn
a snore,
City. Right. No, thank you.
Yeah. Agreed. The Holdovers I've written down.
I would like to see that, but I don't think it's out over here yet.
Yeah, okay.
Looks up my street.
Yeah, we looked that up again last night. I'm quite keen to watch that. That looks interesting. We never got to see Chicken Run 2.
Oh no! How will we cope?
I can't possibly watch Chicken Run 2 without having seen Chicken Run, the first one.
It blows my mind that you've not seen Chicken Run.
How? Why?
Because I sort of assume it's one of those films that everybody's seen. Like Nana's put it on at Christmas and everybody sort of has to watch it. One of those.
That came out when? Like early 2000s, was it?
I went to see it at a cinema in Wales. So I want to say it was earlier than that.
Okay.
I want to say late 90s, but I could be wrong.
Let's have a look. When did Chicken Run came out?
I know Mel Gibson was not involved in the second one.
Well,
thank God.
That's an automatic star, isn't it?
Yeah. Immediately superior.
2000, original Chicken Run came out in 2000.
So apparently I was 18 when I went to see that at the cinema, which is vaguely embarrassing.
I was 16 and probably drunk.
Oh, well, good for you.
Some things never change, do they? Right. Yeah, so that's the movies that we haven't seen yet. Got a feeling we're going to try and pile as many in as possible before the end of the year, like we usually do.
We've got a couple of days.
Yeah, okay. Who is the actor, would you say, question for you, in 2023, who is the actor that has been in the most terrible movies?
In the most terrible movies, Jason Statham.
Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah. That wasn't even planned. I had no idea you were going to ask that. My God.
The
bold menace himself.
Just
shit.
The bravado, the gall, like the expend 4 balls.
Do you know what? He's got a fucking good agent because he's getting paid for ostensibly nothing.
He must be like loaded, obviously.
He must just turn up on set, recite his lines with absolutely no emotion, do a fucking kick, and then go home.
Face, yeah.
A rich man.
Someone's like, kick this lid off this bottle, and he's like, whoosh, and he does it, and they're like, yeah, there's
that was perfect.
£1 million for Jason Statham, and he's like, yeah, and then he goes swimming, and he jumps off a diving board and does a dive and does a synchronized swim a bit. Yeah, expend 4 balls.
Was he in Fast X?
Fast X.
Meg 2.
Briefly Fast X, the Meg 2. He's not really, he's in it a little bit.
He's our king of turds this year.
He's our king of turds. He gets, brand new Shoot the Hostage award. Who gets the king of turds award? Jason Statham. Congratulations. And it works though, because he has the king of turds award, but also he has lots of millions of pounds in the bank.
Oh, he's not going to lose any sleep over our opinion.
Doesn't give a fuck about it. So let's shit on him, because they were some terrible fucking movies. I hated
Turkeys.
The Expendables 4. We had a lot of fun talking about that and tearing it.
Just not watching it.
But it was terrible. And I was so... I was disappointed because I was looking forward to it. Expendables 3 is rubbish.
Eco Uace. We were so excited for Eco Uace finally being in an Expendables movie.
I thought, hopefully they'll do the right thing. Let's get Eco doing the stunt choreography. Let's get him doing as much as possible. Let's film this correctly. Let's not do quick cuts and shaky cam. Let's focus on the action, because guess what? It's a fucking action movie.
No, they just didn't have an action choreographer, apparently.
Yeah. No, they just had a charred Stallone corpse. That's the only thing they could afford.
With a beret on top.
Yeah. And then obviously the Meg 2, which some people enjoyed. Ben
Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley. That's a curious.
I thought you were going to say Ben Wheatley enjoyed it.
I hope.
I'm sure he enjoyed his paycheck.
Yeah, I'm sure he did, and that's the only reason he fucking made that movie.
Fair play, man.
Yeah, and people enjoyed it and said, Ben Wheatley knows what he's making, and it's a fun monster movie. I did not enjoy it.
I don't think it was very fun. Yeah,
but I'm glad that people did get something out of it.
Yeah,
although it was fucking shit. And Fast X, yeah, we've spoken about that briefly already. Jason Momoa is the best thing in that movie, and the ending of that was just the most obnoxious thing.
If you just edited a version of Fast X that was like a really unhinged Jason Momoa acting reel, I'd watch that.
Yeah, me too.
Devoid of context.
Yeah,
I think I would still quite enjoy that.
I would say let's extrapolate that character and put it into any scenario.
Yeah,
and any franchise.
Put him in the Expendables.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Make him the best expendable.
Yeah.
The first.
The least expendable one.
Therefore, the least expendable. Yeah, you're right. I'd think about that. What else we got on the worst of the year here? Oh, do you remember watching The Tank?
Oh yeah. That wasn't good. Did that come out this year?
Yeah, I believe so.
That was a straight to Shudder, I believe.
That wasn't very good, was it? But
considering our number one of the year was a straight to Shudder.
Yeah.
There's varying degrees of quality on that platform.
Yeah, true. We watched the trailer and it got about halfway through.
It looks all right.
And I was like, I don't want to watch anymore.
Yeah.
I want to watch this movie.
We should have watched to the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Rubbish, not worth your time. Oh, I don't think I've ever been so disappointed in a Micah Monroe movie than God is a Bullet.
Oh, man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that was early doors, I think, wasn't it?
But a lot of people gave it positive reviews. And I think they saw a different version than we did. Because there is a longer version.
There was a lot cut out of our version, right?
Yeah. Whatever we saw was absolutely terrible. And yeah, interesting cast, but what a weird film.
A strange movie. It did feel like there were things missing, but then also in a weird way, it felt like there was unnecessary information. It sort of went, I remember there's one thing, no spoilers, it went from one scene to the next scene, and I was just thinking, well, wow.
Yeah, how did we get here?
A completely different scenario.
Yeah.
What happened for you to get from here to here? And it's not to say that you always need to know how a character travels to a location, but it was a certain situation you thought, it's probably quite important that we know what happened after this. And I think after we watched it and we did some research, it seems like there was some really important stuff cut out.
There's a different version, that a lot of people seem to think is much better.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to go back and watch any version again. So.
But sometimes that phrase, you can't polish a turd, is so relevant.
Yes.
What about, we've spoken about The Exorcist, obviously. Bit of a disappointment. David Gordon Green loved the first Halloween reboot.
Yeah, I was going to say the first movie, if not the others.
Enjoyed the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like the second one. But
the second one exists.
But I think he's an interesting filmmaker, and was like perfectly willing to go in and give it a chance. And it had stuff in it that was okay and kind of felt like it was going to do something, but ultimately it did shit the bed for me. And
it did, and then there was some weird fan service that didn't really do it for me. And yeah, just how do you make like a sort of stale Exorcist movie?
Yeah. The use of the tubular bells in the trailer and the movie is something, you know, when you're lying in bed one night and you remember a thing you did years ago and it embarrasses you and you're like, oh no. I think about the tubular bells use in the trailer and it does the same thing to me. I just shudder. I'm like, no, why did you do it? Makes me go icky. I think that's pretty much on the worst of the year. I mean, there are others to mention. I don't want to go too ham on shitting on movies, but I am going to mention how shit Shazam 2 was.
Oh, I didn't even think it was that shit. I just thought it was pretty middle of the road.
Didn't like it very much. I was disappointed because I was really looking forward to it. The first
one was good.
The first one's fun. David F. Sandberg, super cool dude. Love his movies. Or he's got a very interesting brain and the interesting creative choices that he makes on movies. And he seems super cool. So I was very excited, but that was a turd sandwich fire of a movie.
A turd sandwich fire?
Yeah, it was awful.
Somebody made a turd sandwich and then lit it on fire?
Yeah, and it's called Shazam 2.
Helen Mirren, you're better than this.
Oh, and then it had the Fast and the Furious joke in it that's in the
Yeah.
trailer, and it was all a bit wanky, wasn't it?
It wasn't great, but I didn't hate it as much as you did.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for that. I think that wraps us, doesn't it, for the end of the year?
It does. For the whole year.
2023. It's been an interesting year. Obviously, we launched our podcast this year with our first season and continue to release reviews on Patreon. And we've got our ongoing seasons that we're planning and releasing.
We're sorting out the lineup for season 5 as we speak.
Yeah, we're sorting it out. We've got 2024's locked in. We're doing our folklore season when this airs. Or we've nearly finished recording that, actually, if you want to peek behind the curtain. And that runs until February. And then, as you say, we're planning even the next season after that. So planning right the way into 2024. We're going to continue releasing our stuff.
Talking shite
About movies we love, mostly. Sometimes movies we don't
Not
love.
always.
Obviously, I want to say thank you very, very much for listening.
Especially if you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of drunken waffle in this episode.
Yes.
So thank you very much for listening to us on your Christmas break. And just if you've been a listener since day one, thank you very much for tuning in to us since then. We hope that you enjoyed the show.
If this is the first episode you've ever listened to, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
But please stick around.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better. Yeah, I think that's it really, isn't it?
Yeah.
All there is to say is we hope you've had a great Christmas, have a happy new year, and continue listening to our folklore season, which next episode is on Monday.
It is.